Charles, thanks so much for sitting down with me today. You have recently joined a new company or a different company called Solynta.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about what you're doing now and about Solynta.
Okay. Well, I'm the commercial director at Solynta, and Solynta is a true potato seed company. And what I mean by that is we have developed some technology that allows seeds to be produced instead of using the traditional tubers in the potato industry.
Excellent. And where is Solynta based out of?
Solynta is based in the Netherlands in the same city that the Wageningen University is in.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. Yes. So this true potato seed true potato seed has some significant opportunities in its path. So talk to us a little bit about what this development means, as well as the history of the development. So we were just talking, that it's been around since 2006, but then we've had the testing period, and
Sure.
We're just now coming to see some of the fruits of that labor.
Right. Well, Solynta was really formed in 2006, and between 2006 and today, it's really been a research-focused group. And the potatoes that Solynta is working with, they've transformed into diploid potatoes from tetraploids. And that step in itself, most of the potato industry wasn't sure could be done. So that was proven about 2 to 3 years after the development of the company. And with that development, it allowed us to create homogeneous parent lines in potatoes, which had really never been done before successfully. Now, once you have homogeneous parent lines, there's a lot of things you can do. You can manipulate traits, you can do traditional plant breeding, you can even use molecular markers and then molecular breeding to identify genes and then make sure that you've got the right genes and the right parents so that you can actually get heterosis in a hybrid crop and then produce hybrid potatoes. Just like any other hybrid crop, maize, sorghum, those crops are all hybrids. And you can then quickly manipulate the genes through traditional plant breeding and create what we hope to be better potatoes.
And having true seed potatoes, what are the advantages of that compared to the tubers?
Right. Well, the tuber business is a long-established business, but it does come with a lot of challenges. It's very supply chain intensive. And what I mean by that is you have to produce the tubers. And if you have a new variety of potatoes, it takes almost 8 years or more to ramp up to a commercial scale in tuber volumes to actually release a new commercial product. With true seeds, just like with any other true seed product, we can ramp those seeds up to in about 2 years, give or take, and everything's a little bit different, but about then. So the ramp up time period of a new variety or hybrid is much faster so that we get new technology to the farmers quicker. Now, also at that supply chain, you're managing bulky tubers that have to be stored, at a cool temperature, ideally, so that they maintain their longevity. But, for example, to plant 1 hectare of potatoes using tubers, you need roughly 2.5 tons of tubers, which is a significant volume. Now, if you're going to do that from seed, that 1 hectare, you need 25 grams of seed.
Okay.
Significant savings. And that actually brings up one of the other interesting things and disruptive things possibly about this technology. And that's that by using seeds as opposed to tubers, you actually have a very clean, disease-free packet that you're planting into the ground. Tubers notoriously have issues with viruses and with other diseases. And the more often you regenerate your seed tubers, the more diseases come along with that. Now, that creates lots of other problems. It creates distribution issues with import and export phytosanitary issues around the world. And with seeds, you don't really have that. Now, yes, you can have phytosanitary issues, we all do, but it's greatly minimized. And so if you think about that whole supply chain, there's a lot of points along the chain, even prior to new end-use technologies that Solynta can bring to the table.
help to kind of put that in perspective when you talked about a truckload of tubers and then 25 kilograms of seed.
25 grams.
25 grams of seed. So what does that, what does that look like when you do a visual comparison?
So if you were to do a visual comparison, you might think of 2.5 tons of tubers. That would, it would fill up this small room, basically, with tubers. And 25 grams you could hold in the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
And so there's a big difference. And if you're having to refrigerate those tubers, think of the environmental impact just of being able to reduce the amount of refrigeration that you've got or reduce the amount of trucking that you have.
So this technology or this development coming to market is truly disruptive or could be disruptive in a very positive way.
We think so. And we think that part of where this can have the biggest impact really is in some of the harsher climates and maybe even lesser developed parts of the world. Take Central Africa or Northern Africa as examples. It's difficult to find refrigeration and proper storage for tubers on itself, so the tubers don't last as long. Well, they still need to be stored so that it can be planted in the right time period. Storing a small volume of seed is much easier to do than storing the tubers. And so that means that instead of having 20 to 50% waste of tubers, now they can actually store the seed, be stored correctly, and plant a field in a much better way.
Fantastic. Now, what is that next step for Solynta, and how are you guys coming to market? Are you looking to partner with people? Are you looking to commercialize it and distribute it yourselves? Kind of talk me through that.
So within Solynta, we are today a true research company, and we are moving towards the market stages. And that is my role with the company, along with the rest of the team there. But, we do intend to use the traditional seed model to go to the market. And that's partnering with people, it's licensing products, it's a various degree of options depending on what's needed by the local markets around the world.
So you've previously worked with Chromatin, and now you're with Solynta, and you're also involved, serve as the American Seed Trade Association representative to the African Seed Trade Association, and you've got a lot more experience that I'm not citing here. But how will what you have learned in the past and serve you in this role?
Well, I think most of my experience has been working with a product that needs to find a home. And I think that's exactly what we have within Solynta. We've got some really amazing products, and they need to find the farmers who can benefit from them. And as you say, I do have a bit of experience. I hate to say I'm old, but I kind of am. And in those years of experience, what I've done is really go around the world, find farmers, find regions around the world, and be able to see how agriculture can help. And potatoes is, I think, the 5th most consumed crop in the world. And everybody around the world, no matter where you are, you eat potatoes. And so with this new technology, my hope is that we can really get potatoes and better potatoes to the parts of the world that need them.
Great. Yeah, it is such a staple crop around the world, and the consumption, when we think about crops, potatoes is a primary one, and it just doesn't always come to mind.
Right. Yeah.
So when you look at Africa, and you mentioned some of the challenges that exist there and how going from a tuber to a seed can really be beneficial in terms of storage and being able to plant and not have some of that loss. Are there other advantages that you see there in that particular market, I should say?
Well, I think those are the real advantages. Now, yes, I think there's going to be genetic gain in the potatoes just by, the work that Solynta and other potato, growers and breeders are doing, actually. I think we're going to see genetic gain, but in most of the developing world, seed quality is of ultimate importance. And if you can provide a high quality seed to the actual user, they are going to see better performance. And That's really what I see right now is the major benefit,
Mm-hmm.
is that high quality seed being able to guarantee to be planted, come up and germinate and produce potatoes, whereas they may have saved enough tubers from the previous crop
Mm-hmm.
to plant their entire field, but during the storage season, half of them might have gone bad due to disease or just, storage quality.
Yeah, yeah. I have a strange question for you. If you had a billboard for that you could place along the highway for consumers, what would you want it to read?
I would want the consumers to know that they're buying a quality seed product,
Mm-hmm.
one that's free of disease, one that will produce the potatoes at the end of the season that they need for food.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for sitting down with me here today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I enjoyed it. Thanks for asking.